Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's time for another grandfather story, where Grandpa shares wisdom that will make you think a little deeper. Today, we're diving into a question that might have crossed your mind at some point. How do you know if you're being fake? We often hear people say, that person is so fake. But have you ever stopped to wonder if you might be too? Now, before you get defensive, let me tell you, it's not always a bad thing. Being fake isn't necessarily harmful, but understanding why we do it and how it affects our lives is what really matters. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Let's start.
Grandpa, can I ask you something? Lately, I've been hearing a lot about people being fake. People at school say things like, "Oh, she's so fake," or "he's just putting on an act." It's confusing because sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little fake too. Is that bad? Why do people act fake?
That's a very interesting question, my boy. The word fake has been tossed around a lot, especially in today's world. People use it to describe someone who's not being real or authentic. But let me tell you something. Being fake doesn't always mean what people think it does. Sometimes people act a certain way not to deceive others, but because they feel like they have to. It's a way of coping or protecting themselves. Does that make sense?
Kind of. But why would someone need to act that way? Wouldn't it be better if everyone was just real all the time?
In an ideal world, yes, being real all the time would be the best way to live. But life is complicated. Sometimes people wear masks to hide their fears, insecurities, or pain. It's like armor they put on so they don't get hurt. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who's always smiling and seems happy, but deep down, they're struggling with something, maybe feeling lonely or afraid. They put on that happy face not to lie, but because they don't want others to see their vulnerability.
So, is that being fake? Pretending to be happy when you're not?
In a way, yes. But it's not about hurting anyone, it's about protecting themselves. You see, many people believe that if they show their true emotions, others might judge them or think less of them. They feel like they have to fit into certain expectations. So they act a certain way, even if it doesn't match how they're feeling inside. We all do it to some extent.
Even you, Grandpa? Have you ever acted fake?
Oh, absolutely. There have been times in my life when I've had to put on a brave face even when I wasn't feeling strong inside. When your grandmother passed away, for instance, I was heartbroken. But I didn't show that pain to everyone. I smiled. I acted like I was okay because I thought I had to stay strong for the family. Does that mean I was being fake? Maybe. But it wasn't because I wanted to deceive anyone. I was just trying to keep things together.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. I guess everyone feels like they need to put on a mask sometimes. But what about people who just act fake to fit in? Like, at school, there are kids who change how they talk or act depending on who they're around. Isn't that bad?
It's not necessarily bad, but it can become a problem if you lose sight of who you really are. You see, a lot of people act differently around others because they want to be liked or accepted. They think if they show their true selves, they won't fit in. That's another kind of protection, but it can be dangerous if it becomes a habit. If you keep changing who you are just to fit in, one day you might wake up and not recognize yourself.
That sounds scary. So, what's the right thing to do? Should I always just be myself? even if it means people won't like me?
Ah, there's the challenge. Being yourself is the goal. But it doesn't mean you won't adjust a little depending on where you are or who you're with. It's natural to act differently in different situations. You wouldn't talk to your teacher the same way you talk to your friends, right?
So, how can I tell the difference?
It all comes down to your intentions. If you're being polite and respectful in certain situations, that's not being fake. That's just being a good person. But if you find yourself pretending to like things you don't, or acting in ways that go against your true values just to fit in, then it's time to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of being judged? When you get to the root of those questions, you'll find your answer.
That makes sense. But what if people don't like the real me? What if I lose friends?
That's a tough question, and it's one we all face at some point. The truth is, not everyone will like the real you, and that's okay. The goal isn't to make everyone like you. It's to be true to yourself and surround yourself with people who accept you for who you are. When you're authentic, you attract the right kind of people, the ones who appreciate the real you.
That sounds kind of freeing. But sometimes I see people on social media who seem so perfect. They look like they have it all together, and I feel like I should be more like them.
Ah, now that's a journey we all go through. Finding out who you truly are takes time, and it's perfectly okay to be uncertain. You're still young, and you're growing and learning every day. The real you is something you discover little by little, through your experiences, your values, and your choices. It's like carving a sculpture. It takes time, patience, and a lot of chipping away at the surface before the real masterpiece emerges.
So, do you think people on social media are being fake?
Not always. Some people are just sharing the positive parts of their lives because that's what they want to focus on, and that's okay. But it becomes a problem when people feel like they have to live up to those unrealistic expectations. The pressure to be perfect can make people act inauthentic or hide their true selves. Remember, everyone has their ups and downs, even if they don't show it online.
I never thought of it that way. So, it's okay to not have everything figured out or to not always be happy?
Absolutely. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's okay to be honest about that. It's okay to have days when you don't feel your best, and it's okay to not have all the answers. What's important is that you're true to yourself and that you surround yourself with people who accept you for who you are, not who they think you should be.
Thanks, Grandpa. I feel a lot better now. I don't have to be perfect, and I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not.
Exactly, my boy. The most important thing is to be real with yourself and others. That's the foundation for true success, happiness, and fulfillment. The people who matter will appreciate you for who you really are.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. Being real sounds like the better way to live, even if it's not always easy.
Exactly. No one has it all figured out. Even I'm still learning about myself every day. Being real doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It just means you're willing to be honest with yourself and others, even when it's hard.
Thanks, Grandpa. I think I'm ready to start being more honest with myself and others.
I'm proud of you, my boy. That's the first step to living a life of purpose and authenticity. Now, Let's go have some ice cream and celebrate the real you.
Sounds like a plan, Grandpa.
Remember, life's too short to be anything but real.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like and share button. I will see you in next video.